start. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woodsman Whack-Off, the series that puts two woodsmen face to face to see which competitor can whack off their log the fastest. In today's episode, we shall witness a showdown for 67cc supremacy, the Jonsered 670 champ, and the newcomer, the Stihl MS400. Both saws have an identical bore of 50mm and a stroke of 34mm, bringing each saw to an identical displacement of 66.759 cubic centimeters, or 67 cc's. Now let's break things down individually. The Jonsered 670 champ was made in the mid to late 90s for only a few years. However, it is nothing more than the most current version of the regular 670, which was based off the Husqvarna 2 series with roots going all the way back to the early 1980s. Basically, Jonsered took the Husqvarna 266 SE or XP, however you want to say it, and refined it with many different details which served to make the saw a little bit more powerful and give it some more creature comforts, as Jonsered was known to do. But in general, it is a standard pro-level chainsaw with a basic carburetor and dual closed-port cylinder setup. This saw has been ported as a hot firewood build by Corey Corp. The Stihl MS400 was created to be their factory hot rod. Built on the modern 60cc chassis of the Stihl MS362, the MS400 is compact and lightweight. It feels perfectly suited for a 20-inch bar, but also fits well with even smaller bars and can hold its own with a long bar setup due to the extra displacement. It is a modern stratified cylinder and is fueled through an M-tronic style digitally controlled carburetor. This saw has also been ported as a hot firewood saw by Ethan Trainer. Both saws were fully loaded with fuel, oil, bar, and chain to give operating weights of 18.8 pounds for the Jonsered and 17.29 pounds for the Stihl. The bars and chains for this whack-off event are supplied by Archer Plus. Each bar is a Tsumura premium lightweight bar and an Archer 3/8 full chisel chain. The chain is identical on both saws. It is the same chain, and all it has is just a cleanup sharpening. Will the old school champ be able to keep its title against the young stud? Let's find out. All right, here they are, revving them up and getting ready for the smooth glide down the shaft. Both saws throwing chips. I'm telling you, that Archer chain, sharpened up with a nice cleanup sharpening, is clearly doing really well. And it's, oh my goodness, look at that. The Jonsered 670 champ takes the first round. Here we are for the tug up. Both saws are being pulled up as hard as the operator can pull them without bogging the saw down. And look at that. Flip-flopped, and now the MS400 takes the win on the second round. Here we are for the third and final round with the vice grip. We're squeezing and pulling and tugging on those saws, and it is very close. These saws are very well matched, and oh my goodness, we just saw a saw with 40-year-old technology beat the new MS400. Let me tell you, that is an excellent saw, excellent battle. The Jonsered 670, ladies and gentlemen, is still the champ of the 67cc class. Now let's go to Bodie and see what he has to say about it. I bet you not many of you guys actually saw that coming. The first thing to address in the room is the 670 champ now the best saw ever made? Not in my opinion, because there's more to life than just power and speed through the cut. And I definitely still stand behind my opinion that the Stihl MS400 is the best saw ever made. Okay, but the 670, in this situation, both saws were ported by two excellent porters. Both saws had the same goal in mind of a hot firewood saw. I told both of the porters I was likely to always run a 20-inch bar, but maybe a 24-inch every now and then. And there you have it. And now, Can you make that 400 outrun that 670? Of course you can, right? But then you can make that 670 outrun that 4. There's always something. This is just two saws that I have, and I wanted to see how they compared against each other. And I would say that if you were building a saw for speed, you should definitely still pick the Stihl MS400, because I think that it has a higher power potential. But with this situation, the way that Ethan built this saw, it's a little bit slower than the 670 Champ. I don't care. These are both fantastic saws, and this is just fun. Okay, so if there's anybody out there that gets bent out of shape and stuff, just chill out. Just chill out. Both these guys, Corey Corp built the Jonsered 670, and he's built a lot of those, and is known to have a really good formula that he repeats for those saws. And what I mean by those saws is the Husqvarna 2 Series saws. The 161, if you want to go way back, the 61, the 266, the 268, the 268 XP, the 272 XP, the Jonsered 625, 630, and 670. He's done a lot of them. The MS400 by Ethan, that was the very first time he had ever ported a 400. And none of this means anything. I'm just talking and telling you about the situation. But yeah, I was extremely impressed with the old 670. I didn't think that it would be able to compete. Actually, no, I take that back. I knew that it would be able to compete and be competitive. I did not think that it was going to be able to beat the MS400, but it very clearly did. And you know, anything that you might say that's going on in your head, yes, I gave plenty of time for that auto-tune the M-tronic of the MS400 to tune in. Just like with the 670, I tuned on it a little bit more, and I used the faster times. But yeah, both extremely well paired. I'm not dumbfounded, but I'm really shocked that the 670 beat it. All right, so, but now about the saws themselves. All right, I would take any one of them any day of the week to any job. They're fantastic, right? But yeah, the MS400, and this is a big part of why I think that saw is just great, and that is the weight. I mean, it was over a pound lighter, which a pound is nothing. But whenever you carry that saw all day long, you know, constantly doing this, you know, turn it on the side and you're doing this. Maybe you're reaching up here and getting some limbs. Whenever you're cutting, I don't know, 200 times on one tree, that pound becomes 200 pounds, and it's 200 extra pounds. So yeah, you don't want to have to deal with that. So weight savings goes a long way, and I just think that Stihl absolutely knocked it out of the park with the MS400. In stock trim, it was really good. I really liked it, but I was like, I don't know. It's a really expensive saw, and in stock trim, I believe my Echo Direwolf was beating it, and so I could get those in the Direwolf. You know, it's Echo 590. I could get that. I get them pretty regularly for around $200 in good shape, and then I just port them up. And so then you consider a port job for me is $400, and so $200 for the saw, $400 for the port job. I got $600 wrapped up in it, and it outperforms a stock MS400. And so I'm like, oh, you know. But then all of a sudden, Ethan ported that 400. and then its potential really was felt, and I was like, oh gosh, this is a nice saw. I mean, this is a really nice saw. But performance-wise, right, Even in stock trim, it performed extremely similar to the old Husqvarna 266s, the 268, 268XP, the Jonsered 670 here. It performed right on par with those. So I was really eager to see what it would do if both saws were ported. And, well, now we know. They're honestly pretty dead nuts even still. All right, but in this situation right here specifically, my 670 built by Corey outperforms my MS400 built by Ethan. And none of this means anything. It's just entertainment. So yeah, anyways, hope you liked it. The Whack Off series, if you're new to this channel, check it out. This is a playlist that I have, the Woodsman Whack Off. Whenever I first got started, I was, doing what I could, right? And but I've got that playlist for the Woodsman Whack Off. If you haven't seen it, if you're a new subscriber, check it out. I put all kinds of shit up against each other, And whenever I first started doing this, I was like, well, I'll just do a 12 by 12 block of red oak, and I'll always run in that, and so it's always going to be fair and everything. Well, I didn't realize that, you let that block of red oak sit out in the weather, it dries out and becomes harder, and that changes your times. So, and it's really hard to do, so I've kind of gotten away from doing them. But I think there's like 90 plus of those whack-off videos. There's a lot of them. And they're fun, informative, let you know a little bit about each saw that is competing, and have a little fun with the characters as well. Whatever. But yeah, check them out. If you're watching this video, look somewhere, the playlist that it's on. It's on a playlist called the Woodsman Whack Off, and put all kinds of stuff up against all kinds of stuff. And what's surprising is how well a ported saw does against a larger displacement stock saw. Like, is it in one of the whack-offs? I don't know. But I had my Charlie Briscoe built Echo 4910, and I put it up against Holtzforma G660, and the 50cc saw beat the 92cc saw with a long bar, longer at least. So it's these ported saws are pretty awesome. I can remember whenever I got my first Holtzforma G660. It was a Farmer Tech kit saw is what it was. And I put it all together and got it to run, and I thought, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing power-wise. Big 92cc saw, it's amazing. Little did I know that in the future I would be running a 50cc saw that would outperform it. Porting is really cool. I have fun doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, take it easy.